Facebook is easily the biggest and most important social media network available right now. With almost 3 billion users, you simply can't afford to ignore the powerhouse that is the Facebook empire. But what's even more exciting isn't just the number of users that Facebook has, but the tools that Facebook gives you in order to reach and to market to its users. From pages to groups to Messenger to ads and so much more. Facebook really is a one-stop marketing shop, and nothing else even comes close. Not even a little. And when you understand how to use the tools that Facebook gives you in order to reach your clients or your customers right where they are, right now, you'll never go hungry for leads, customers, or sales again. So let's get to it. Facebook first came out in 2004, but it was in 2009 that it officially became the most popular social media platform in the world. And it hasn't stopped growing since. This is why whether you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a marketer, or even an employee that works for a business, you simply can't afford to ignore Facebook. But knowing that Facebook marketing is important to your business and knowing what tools are available and how to use them, well, those are two completely different things. And that's why in this episode, I'm gonna break down the different ways to use Facebook to reach your audience, grow your business, and make more sales. We'll start with the easiest and we'll move progressively through the list of options, getting to the more complicated and more advanced strategies. The beauty of Facebook is that there really is something here for everyone, whether you're first getting started marketing your business on Facebook or whether you've been at this game for years. So let's kick things off with one of the easiest and also one of my favorite ways to market yourself and your business on Facebook, which is the Facebook personal page. When most people think about Facebook, the personal page is normally the first thing that comes to mind. In fact, the general public, people outside of marketing and outside of business, well, they're normally not even familiar with all of the other options that Facebook gives you, maybe aside from Messenger and the odd Facebook ad that pops up on their newsfeed. To them, the Facebook personal page is Facebook. Your Facebook personal page is the main page that you see when you first log in. It's what you signed up for. It's typically your name, and it's the page you use to connect with friends or with family. It's not your business page. You can't run ads through it. It's just there. But here's the deal. It's also one of the most effective ways to connect with your network and to build your business. And here's why. First, especially if you're just getting started in business, it is incredibly important that your friends and your family know what you do. After all, word of mouth and getting referrals are incredibly powerful ways to build up your business. But for them to refer you, they need to know what you do. After all, people can't buy from you if they don't know that you exist. Or in this case, people can't buy from you if they do know you exist, but don't know that you have a business. I learned this lesson personally years ago, the hard way, when I accidentally created content on my personal page that I meant for my business page, and all of my friends and my family chimed in and they were asking questions about marketing and they had no idea that I was doing marketing. Now at the time, I was telling myself that I didn't want to spam my friends and spam my family with my business, so I would keep it separate. This was a huge mistake. The reality is you can post strategically and carefully on your personal page about your business without spamming, without being sleazy or salesy. Just let people know what you do. The other reason that makes your personal Facebook page just so effective really comes down to the almighty Facebook algorithm, which is essentially the system behind what Facebook shows and to who it shows your stuff to. Well, your Facebook personal page is still one of the places that you have decent organic reach, meaning you can create content on your personal page and it has a pretty good chance of getting shown to your friends and to your family. All right, moving on to the next tool that Facebook gives you, which is the Facebook business page. Here's the deal with the Facebook business page. If you have a business, you need a Facebook business page. Period. This is non-negotiable. Now, the beauty of the Facebook business page is that it gives you access to a whole new set of tools that just aren't available through your personal page, like putting in your business address as well as running ads, which we're going to talk about later. Unlike your personal page, however, which should be largely personal with a little bit of business, your business page should be largely, if not completely business. Now, this doesn't mean being boring, and it also doesn't mean hammering your audience with offer after offer, trying to get them to buy something. But it does mean keeping your content on key and largely business focused or business related, or things that your customers or clients would find useful or interesting or valuable. People that follow your personal page are going to be interested in you, whereas people that follow your business page may be interested in you, but they're probably more interested in what your business can do. Now, when you first start a business page, you're going to have all of 0 followers, so you may be tempted to spend money on ads in order to build up your followers. But to this, I'd caution you. First of all, we saw this years ago ago when people spent a ton of money building up all of these followers for their business page, only to have the Facebook algorithm change and immediately destroy pretty much all of the reach that was coming from the page. Meaning, let's say you had 100 followers on your business page and you created content in the past, maybe 50 or maybe even 60 people would see it. Well, then they changed the algorithm and now 2 people would see it. Maybe 5. So all of this money that was spent on building up followers was largely wasted. This is why a better approach is rather to try to build it up organically, mention it through your website, through your email newsletter, and also let your Facebook business page followers be a byproduct of any ads that you run. Again, we'll talk about that in the future. And by future, I mean in just a minute. But first, Facebook Stories. Facebook Stories are a fun and lighthearted and casual way to share kind of quick moments or behind the scenes goings on of your business. Stories are vertical videos or pictures shot from your phone, and they only last 24 hours. The cool thing about stories is that they have stickers and effects and different emojis, and really you just kind of have some fun with them. When it comes to Facebook Stories, the key really is just to use them, and use them often. Once a day, pretty much at least, maybe even twice, or 3 times, or 5 times, or 10 times, depending on your business, depending on your market, depending on your audience. The great thing about stories though, and why they really do need to be a part of your marketing, is that they're a little more real, a little more raw, and a little more authentic. They're also fast and fun, and really easy to make. Just grab your phone, snap a quick picture, shoot a quick video, and pretty much done. All right, now let's talk about one of the most feared of all the Facebook tools, which is none other than Facebook Live. Facebook Live, just like Instagram Live or YouTube Live or any other live that's gonna come out in the future, is a live streaming platform, meaning you can create live videos from your phone or from your desktop and broadcast them out either on your personal page or your business page or in any groups that you're a part of or own. Going live is a really effective way to show your true personality in a real and raw and authentic way. After all, it's live. Like, you can't edit that stuff out. That's also why it freaks people out. But your audience loves it. You can go live from your phone, or you can set up an entire live streaming studio from your desktop computer and go completely bananas. The choice is totally up to you. The point though here is that if you can find the courage to go live, and don't be afraid to start small from your phone and work your way up from there, if you can find the courage to do that, it is an incredibly effective marketing tool. All right, now let's talk about Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger gives you the ability to message people directly, much like a text or SMS, but done directly through the Facebook platform. Just like with the Going Live feature, well, you can do this through your personal page or through your business page. There are some advantages to using your business page, being that you can incorporate more software like a chatbot, which can actually do some initial filtering and some initial heavy lifting of the conversation to sort and to segment and to guide people where they need to go. There's also now the ability to message your Instagram friends through Facebook Messenger, because Facebook owns Instagram, but we'll talk about that later too. And by later, I mean in just a minute. The cool thing about Messenger though isn't just the accessibility and the ability to message friends and family and clients and customers and things like that, but also all of the tools and the features and the kind of nifty things that it gives you. You can of course send emojis and stickers and GIFs, but you can also send audio messages, as well as my personal favorite, video messages. Most importantly though is to really put yourself in your customers or in your clients' shoes, being empathetic to the way that they want to communicate with you and with your business. And a lot of people prefer Messenger. All right, it's time to talk about Facebook groups. Facebook groups are an incredibly powerful feature that Facebook gives you to build a community of like-minded individuals around a certain topic or interest or business. And there are Facebook groups out there for pretty much everything you can think of. Like literally, pretty much everything. There's even a Facebook group out there of people who all pretend to be ants in an ant colony. And before you write this off as just a weird corner of the internet, this Facebook group of ant impersonators has nearly 2 million people. Now, when it comes to marketing with Facebook groups, you have 3 different options. Option 1 is a free Facebook group. The strategy behind creating your own free Facebook group is essentially you create a group, you don't charge anything for people to join, and you use it to generate leads and foster connection and build engagement and rapport with members of your group. Free Facebook groups can work amazingly well, but they're very niche and market and industry specific. So you want to be careful and make sure that your business best aligns with offering a free Facebook group. Plus, they take a ton of time and energy and careful strategy and planning to really make sure that they're working to the way they should. You can't just toss up a free Facebook group, add a couple people in there and expect it to grow your business. This is why I consider a free Facebook group more of an intermediate strategy. The next option is a paid Facebook group. Now, by paid Facebook group, I don't mean that you're paying Facebook to have a group. Rather, your members or your clients or your customers are paying you, and as a benefit, they get access to a group. You can use this as a standalone membership community, or you can use it as a value add to your current products or services. The content strategy inside of a paid group is obviously quite different than that inside of a free group because people paid to be in there, so it better be good. The third option is other people's Facebook groups, and this is by far my least favorite strategy of all. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say I genuinely dislike this strategy. Now, it did used to work quite a few years ago when Facebook groups were still relatively new and not every single person had tried and spammed and really sleazed their way out of this strategy. There's an expression that marketers brew in everything, and it's kind of true because as soon as something works, everybody does it, and then it stops working. Well, going into other people's Facebook groups, providing value bombs, which were essentially just spammy, sleazy, salesy type posts, and then trying to get people to direct message you to siphon off from the group, again, used to be an effective strategy, but now just looks spammy and sleazy and salesy. And people know what's going on. So if anyone tells you that a great marketing strategy today is simply to sign up for everybody's free groups and then leave a ton of valuable comments or helpful posts and then slowly start siphoning off members for your own business, that's bad advice. It makes you look salesy, it makes you look sleazy, and it makes you look needy. None of which are good for business. On the other hand, if you genuinely care about the group, about the business, about the topic, about the people inside, then by all means, create valuable content, engage and respond, be helpful and be useful. But don't make this your primary marketing tool as a way to grow your business. Let any business boosting or networking or relationships that come from it be a nice secondary byproduct. All right, it's time to talk about Facebook ads. Facebook ads are probably one of my favorite parts and favorite tools that Facebook gives you to promote your business, and one I've been using for the past decade. But it wasn't until around 2013 where retargeting ads really came out that things really got effective. Anyway, Facebook ads, even still to this day, are still one of the most cost-effective and strategic marketing uses available to you. But what makes Facebook ads so special isn't just the fact that they're giving you access to Facebook's massive audience database, but rather the targeting and the placements and the creative capabilities that you have to create really high converting ads. Facebook ads are great, and you should absolutely be looking at them as a part of your marketing strategy. However, like all advertising, they're not a magic bullet. Rather, advertising, Facebook ads in this case, are an accelerator. Meaning, if you have a good business and a good offer, and clear messaging, an ideal target market that's really clearly defined, well, Facebook ads are going to enable you to accelerate your business and amplify the results. On the other hand, if you have a questionable product or service or an unproven offer that just isn't converting, well, Facebook ads are only going to make it fail faster. This is why the key, or the secret if you will, to creating high converting Facebook ads always comes back to the basics. Always comes back to strategy. First, you need to clearly identify who exactly it is that you're trying to reach. Their demographic details, like what's their age and their gender and their income and their occupation. Their geographic details, like what city or state or province or country do they live in. And most importantly, at least when it comes to Facebook, what are their psychographic details, like their values and their attitudes and their lifestyles? What other pages do they like? What other interests do they have? What other groups are they a part of? Then you need to dive even deeper and try to figure out your market's biggest pains and problems and fears and frustrations so you can craft effective ad messaging and effective ad copy that speaks directly to these pains. It's only then that you get to decide where you want your Facebook ad to appear and what you want it to look like. Admittedly, it's kind of complicated stuff, but learning it and getting it right is an absolute game changer for your business. All right, now let's move on to some of the lesser known Facebook marketing tools, which while aren't necessarily huge right now, they could be in the future. So they're worth learning about, paying attention to. The first of which is Facebook Watch. Facebook Watch is a feature that you may or may not have even heard of. Facebook Watch is kind of like Facebook's version of YouTube, but without the cool search features and only available to some people. But it's also kind of like Netflix because it has its own original shows, but it's also still on Facebook, so it's kind of like Facebook. Basically, Facebook Watch is still kind of hard to categorize. Regardless, it's worth paying attention to because anything Facebook does is worth paying attention to. After all, it's hard to say when they're going to open up access to more creators and what kind of reach and what kind of exposure they're going to permit other businesses to have. But at least for now, unless you're a massive business with a multi-million-dollar marketing budget, it's probably best just to be aware of it, but then leave it alone. Next up, Facebook Portal. Facebook Portal is Facebook's version of a smart video conference device. Essentially, it lets you live video chat with your Facebook friends. It does have some other cool features though, like letting you listen to music or check your front door or look through your photos. From a business perspective, however, it's tough to say how or when this will be fully incorporated. That said, it does let you do video calls from Messenger or WhatsApp, so you could use it to connect with your clients or your customers. And you can use Portal's camera to go live, so if you want to do a Facebook Live, you've got that option. What's cool though, and what's more interesting, is Facebook Portal's use of AR, or augmented reality, which gives you some pretty cool and pretty interesting features, which right now are available on the portal, but may soon be incorporated into other Facebook products. And speaking of AR, augmented reality, let's take a look at VR, virtual reality, and Facebook's move into that world with Oculus. Facebook acquired Oculus, which produces virtual reality headsets, back in 2014 for $2.3 billion. So clearly they believe in the future of virtual reality. That said, we're still a long way away from virtual reality, VR, becoming a part of our everyday lives. I mean, just think about how many people you know that spend at least an hour a day using virtual reality technology. I'm willing to bet not many, maybe none, maybe one, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to become a more dominant and more relevant technology in the future. So again, it's worth knowing about and paying attention to. For now though, unless you've got that multi-million-dollar marketing budget, again, probably worth paying attention to and being aware of, but putting it on the back burner. All right, so up to this point, we've covered the big ones, the products and services that Facebook has to offer that you can use to craft the perfect Facebook marketing strategy. But we're not quite done yet, because there's still a couple more platforms you need to be aware of if you truly want to dominate the Facebook platform. And here's the deal. We've covered a lot so far, but Facebook has over 40 different products and services. Crazy, eh? But I really want to make this clear. You do not and should not use them all. Rather, you want to be careful and strategic and highly selective about the tools, about the products, about the services that best align with you, your business, your customers, and your goal. Use the best, ignore the rest. Sounds like a tagline. So with that said, here's a couple more Facebook services that I really want to draw to the front of your mind to make sure you're paying attention to. You're probably already familiar with them, but it's important to understand that they fall under the Facebook umbrella. The first off is Instagram from Facebook. Yes, Facebook owns Instagram, meaning if you want to run an Instagram ad, you need to do it through the Facebook Ads Manager. Plus, many of the algorithm changes we've seen with Facebook, well, they largely apply to Instagram as well. Yes, they're different platforms and they have a different vibe and style and aesthetic, but a lot of the algorithm and math and logic behind it, a lot of it's the same. The key though is with over 1 billion users, Instagram is an amazing way to reach a slightly younger demographic. Next up is WhatsApp, also from Facebook. Now there's a lot of similarities between Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, like a lot. Both are owned by Facebook, both allow you to chat with friends, but the biggest difference is that Facebook Messenger is more closely aligned with your Facebook profile, whereas WhatsApp is more closely aligned with your phone and the contacts in there. All right, so now that you've got a good handle on Facebook marketing, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is check out the video I have linked up right here on Instagram marketing. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in the next episode.
The way that I like to think about it is feed real good and stories real time. Meaning that you want to make sure that you've curated and created your absolute best content in your feed so that you're really portraying your best brand image possible, putting your best foot